So we're going to generate a report. We've just logged in to our tool, and the first thing you do is type in your zip code. So I'm going to type in the zip code of InterNACHI in Boulder, Colorado, 80301. Right here, you can generate the report for sale for a client if you're going to sell this report to your client. We're getting feedback from home inspectors who are using the tool right now and selling it, and it's going for up to $100. So $50, $100 we're seeing. And there are many inspectors who are using this report and including it with their general home inspection service. They're kind of like a package. So they do a home inspection and an energy report, and they include it for free. It's a $100 value, and they increase the fee of their general home inspection. So there are many ways to provide value, and there's a lot of room for profit. So you could generate a hypothetical report. This will be of no cost to you forever while the tool exists. But if you're going to generate a report for sale, soon we'll have to start charging you a couple dollars to generate a report. The Department of Energy in the Berkeley lab charges InterNACHI per calculation per report. So we're going to pass that cost on, and it's only a few dollars. So you buy credits, you have an account, you fill up your credits, and they stay in your account forever. And then as you generate a report for sale, not hypothetical or sample, but for sale, then we discount from your account a credit for every report that you generate for sale. So enough of that. Let's go to the bottom and start a report. So you click that big blue button. And remember, you can do this on an iPhone or an iPad. It's processing data. It's sending the zip code to the energy calculator developed by the U.S. Department of Energy, and it's populating the checklist, the online checklist, with a lot of data that it knows is going to fit very well for your home that's in that zip code. They have a lot of data about the U.S. household housing stock. So in Boulder, Colorado, most of the homes were built in the 70s. So right here, we could see that the year built was already assumed to be 1974. It's a little off. So I'm going to make it more accurate by putting data in that I know. So it's 1978. My home was built in 1978. And let's just say it's 101 Main Street. So I type in the address. City is Boulder. Colorado drop-down menu. 1978. It's a little bit more accurate than the tool assumed. It tries to do work for you. And this is really critical. If you know the year that the house was built, everything comes from that, okay? And here is the amazing part. So this is for how many people will be living in this home, not how many people are living in this home. We don't care really how much the seller has to pay for the utility bills. What we want to do is customize this report to your client's needs. And they need to know how much this home is going to cost them to operate once they move in. So if I have a family of 5, I'll put my own family in. There's my wife and I. I have 2 kids of this age, 1 kid of this age, and let's say my mother-in-law moves in. God help me. So now the report is going to be customized for whoever is going to move in. Using the zip code, the energy calculator figured out the cost of electricity per kilowatt hour, gas per cubic for therm, propane gas and fuel oil. It tries to figure out and populates the data for you. So you don't have to figure out, well, I'm in this utility company charges this amount for this electricity. It does it for you. But if you knew that it was off, let's say it's not 10.2 cents and it's 10.3, you could change it if you wanted to. The more accurate information you can provide to the online reporting tool, the more accurate the report is for your client. Building design. This energy calculator figures out, based upon the zip code and the direction that the house faces, it figures out how the sun passes overhead over the house and how much energy is absorbed through the windows and building envelope of the home. So you have to figure out where the front of the house is, usually the front door, and orient it. So I had my iPhone, here it is, and someone just thought this was interesting, that I have an app with a compass in it. You really can't see it, but if you have an iPhone, you can do the report generation on your iPhone and use a compass as well. That's one of the things that home inspectors really don't do. We don't figure out the direction of the front door, right? Orientation. There are 2 levels in the home. The ceiling height is 8 feet. It tried to estimate the square footage. It's a little low. They finished the basement, so I'm going to put in the accurate conditioned area. I have a conditioned basement, unconditioned attic, and my roof absorptivity. For things that you don't understand, we have a little help menu. So go to the help menu, and it describes what that means. And I'm actually medium dark roof because I have light colored concrete tiles. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit to 0.8. There we go. Insulation. The foundation or floor insulation? No, it's not. Is the insulation in the attic, at the floor of the attic, how well is it insulated? It's not insulated well at all. It's about 3 inches in my attic. And the level of the roof sheathing, if you have like a cathedral ceiling. So I don't have a cathedral ceiling. So the next very important part is the wall insulation of the basic 4 sides of a home and their drop-down menus. And I know it's R11, and I figured that out because there's a little help in estimating insulation levels. I know that there's fiberglass insulation in the walls. Remember, if you don't know this detail, it's okay. The report will generate based upon the information that you know. If you know a little bit more, I know that there's fiberglass in here, and I know it's if you look at my walls, it's a 2x4 wall. There's a brick veneer, and it's a 2x4 wall, but it's not 4 inches, it's 3.5 inches. So 3.5 inches times that factor there, 3.2, is 11.2. So the R level for the walls is 11.2. So there's 11, 11, 11, and 11. This is really important, actually. We've gotten feedback that, hey, the heating costs are way too high. And it's probably because of the other pieces of data. It's not just about the heating costs, getting that accurate. You have to input all the data, all 40 points, because the wall insulation, the ceiling insulation affects the cost of the heating system. So if you underestimated the thickness of the wall insulation or the ceiling insulation, then the heating system is going to operate and the costs are going to be higher than what is actual. Airtightness. So ask yourself, do you think this house is airtight or leaky? If it's original, it's probably air leaky, right? Doesn't have weather stripping and caulking. It's not airtight. So that's my home. It's leaky. So I would say no. But if a contractor has just come into the attic and you know that they blew in insulation and did some air sealing and the windows are newer or there is weather stripping, then you would say that the house has weather stripping and caulking. It's airtight. But mine isn't. It's very air leaky, which makes the home, which is the most important part, and most important thing to understand. Most homes in the United States, there are 130 million homes. 80 million of them were built in the 80s, and the energy code back then wasn't very good. And we know that they weren't airtight, right? A lot of energy is just being blown right up through the roofs of 80 million homes. Most of the energy that's generated inside a home is wasted this way, 20 to 30%, right up through. So it's not airtight and it's not insulated well. But if you're going to recommend air sealing and insulation, you really need to recommend a contractor, because once you start making the house tighter, other things can happen, right? Right here, measured air leakage rate from a blower door test. If you have a report from an energy auditor, they'll give you some data that's very specific from their blower door test, and you can enter that information in here. If you don't have it, that's okay. The report will generate without that data. But you have to be an energy auditor. For you energy auditors, CFM 50s, to put that data right in there. Windows and skylights. So if the house has a skylight, put it in. If it doesn't, leave it. Front of the house, put in the window type. It has an effect on, again, that energy coming in from the sun in that orientation, and how much it has a lot to do with the energy, right? So I have double pane clear aluminum, for example, and I estimated it to be about 72 square feet. Home inspectors, we're not measuring windows, right? We're checking representative number of windows, making sure they open and close and lock. But try to eyeball it. You don't have to take out your measuring stick, but if you know it's like 3 feet by 4 feet, that's 12 square feet and a couple windows, multiply it by a factor. So let's scroll down to appliances and equipment. I do have a washer, clothes washer. It's not Energy Star. Type of clothes dryer is electric dryer. It's not very efficient. Number of refrigerators, I have one refrigerator. Is a primary refrigerator Energy Star qualified? No. Number of freezers, I don't have any standalone freezers. Water heater. Well, it assumed that the water heater was original. It's not. So I know I'm going to enter more accurate data. It was built in 2001. So I entered that. The fuel type is correct. The gallons, it's actually a 50-gallon hot water tank. And heating and cooling. The thermostat has a great effect on how energy efficient, how the house performs. So it's not a standard thermostat, it's a programmable thermostat. Heating equipment is central air, gas. The year purchased, it's not original, it was 2001 as well, so I type in 2001, and it gives me a little warning saying you're going to type in the year. If you know the efficiency or capacity, you can type that in as well, and there's little help menus about what is a heating capacity in BTUs and how to calculate it. If you know this extra data, this detailed information, it will override the general year, right? So if you know the actual BTUs and the efficiency of the heating system, type that in, and the energy calculator will grab that more detailed information and make the report more accurate. But it's not going to make it any more accurate than the year. It's just a little bit more accurate. So if you only know the year, good. That's good enough. Cooling equipment. It didn't think I had cooling equipment because in Boulder, Colorado, we're a mile high, and we hardly ever use the air conditioner. It's kind of cold here most of the year. But I do have an air conditioner. The neat thing is it was built in 74. So it's an old air conditioner. I don't know the efficiency or capacity. I'm not going to type that in. The ductwork is in conditioned space. So I do that. And the ducts are not insulated. They're not sealed. That's another energy loss area. Ductwork, unsealed, uninsulated ductwork is not very good to have. Are the pipes insulated? No. Do I have a whole house fan? Yes, I actually do. Then there's optional inputs. Hot tubs, pools, spas, sump pumps, wells. You don't have to input any of the data here. In the future, the Department of Energy has told us that these may be integrated very soon into the calculation of the energy, because in the South, pool pumps suck up a lot of energy, right, to heat that pool. All right, click that button, generate report, and it's sending all that data again back to the energy calculator at the Department of Energy, and it's crunching all the data, it's processing all the data, it's making recommendations, it's generating recommendations for you specific to that house in that climate with all that data for your home buyer who's moving into the home. So you don't have to generate the report, it's generated for you. That's why it only takes a few minutes. And then it's saving the report in your account. InterNACHI is doing that. We set up an account for you so you can look at all the past reports that you have. And then it takes a few seconds. So if you have a bad internet connection or slow internet connection, maybe you need to wait until you get back to the office. So there it is there. This is the report that we had for my home in Boulder, Colorado. And right there, the graphic shows almost $1,000 a year in heating bills. And this is what we have written. We have you identified on the left and a little narrative that says, I conducted a walkthrough of the home. I used an energy calculator to estimate the home's yearly energy usage, pinpoint potential energy inefficiencies, develop recommendations for improvements, and determine potential energy savings. And then a lot of data that your clients can find valuable. But the most important data is at the bottom right corner, where it says potential savings per year, $662 I am wasting energy, so much energy. It's $662. That's like a trip to the Bahamas for the weekend, or a 55-inch flat screen TV that I'm wasting. I'm wasting energy in my home, and wasting energy is like throwing money away. So your report, if your client follows the recommendations of your report, they'll save over $600 every year. And they'll also be able to spend then that money on something else, right? Since they're no longer wasting energy, they can take that money and use it for other things that they really need or want. So that's the beauty of this report. It's customized to the homeowner, to the home buyer, your client that's moving in. The report itself is pretty cool. It has all of these systems and components that you can run through. It's dynamic, so your client hits the top buttons for heating, cooling, large appliances, small appliances, and they can scroll up and down, back and forth. They go to the lighting, and we got permission from the EPA to use the Energy Star logo, and energy upgrades. So this is the energy upgrades, is the most important part. What does your client do, right? What are your recommendations in this home? And most reports will say something about the indoor lights. The DOE wants every home to have efficient light bulbs. So almost every report that the DOE generates for you will have a recommendation to use energy efficient light bulbs in your house. So you can tell your client that you'll save about $52 a year if you spend $88 replacing inefficient light bulbs with efficient CFLs. And the payback period will only be 2 years, a very quick payback period. Do you remember where I had the electric clothes dryer? Well, the recommendation is to switch to a gas dryer, right? Well, it isn't saying to take that electric dryer that's functioning well, throw it away, and buy a new gas dryer. It's saying when that electric dryer fails, and they always will eventually fail, switch to a gas dryer. You'll have to spend a little bit more money to get to a gas dryer, but it'll be more efficient, especially if it's an Energy Star appliance, and it'll pay back itself in only 3 years. These are the types of recommendations that are generated. Clothes washer, gas furnace, the water heater has a recommendation. And then there's the air sealing and attic insulation. So the air sealing and attic insulation are big projects that your home buyer probably won't do by themselves. They'll need a contractor. And the payback period is a longer period because they have to spend more money. But their home will be more comfortable. So when you do air sealing and insulation, you're going for comfort more than energy savings. And these recommendations are coming from the Department of Energy, again, from their energy calculator. So we think this report is a lot of fun because it moves around, it's dynamic, it has these charts and graphs and bar charts up here, and it gives your client an affordable way to quickly understand how much their home is going to cost and the potential for energy savings. So let's go. The third thing I wanted to do is share a video.
Hi, I'm Ben Gromicko, founder of InterNACHI, the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. It takes a lot of energy to heat, cool, and operate a home. So anything a home inspector can provide to the consumer to help them save energy and therefore save money, it's going to be well received. What this is the inspector taking the information that he already gathered on an inspection, plugging it into our systems, and producing for his client a valuable report in just an extra 15 minutes. The home energy report doesn't produce a score. It doesn't produce a grade. You can't fail. What it produces is information. That information saves the client money because acting upon that information saves the client energy. It only costs a couple dollars to create this report. The value of that information you're providing to your client could be in the many thousands of dollars. So in between there, there's a lot of profit to be made. A home inspector is already qualified. He doesn't have to have any special tools, doesn't need a blower door, doesn't need an IR camera. The energy report was built around the skill sets that home inspectors already possess. Don't go into business to make a good living. Go into business to make a great living. There are only a few things you can do in the inspection industry to really make a great living. This is one of them. And if you're going to offer any type of ancillary services, mold or radon, things that have lab fees and licenses associated with it, that this would be the one to offer. This is really going to help your client simply take information that you've already gathered on an inspection, you put it into the system, and we produce the report for you. You don't even have to write the report. Your client's happy, the planet's happy. I would say if you're going to offer any other services, stop and offer this one first.
All right, thanks, Nick. And so we also have just a few more minutes left, or actually we're almost out of time. Some marketing available. So we have developed flyers for you, and we'll make these available. This is one side of one flyer. This is another flyer that we developed. Wasting energy is like throwing money away. And we have a checklist as well for those of you who don't use a reporting software system. We have a checklist, or if you're using a reporting software, you can copy paste this, bring this in as a template for your reporting software system. And we also wrote an air leaks and air sealing guide for homeowners. And it speaks to homeowners. It tells homeowners how to approach identifying ways to make their homes more energy efficient by figuring out the most important part of making a home energy efficient, which is sealing up the air leaks and adding insulation, typically in the ceiling in the attic area. So all that information is tough to put in an online report. It's way too much information. So we developed a guide. And this is a guide that is written specifically for home buyers who are going to buy a home that may have energy issues. And that is about it. I apologize for losing my internet connection for a moment there, but the tool is actually back on. I thank you for your patience, and I would love to send all this information, all these links to you. If you email me, I'll send that information to you. And my information, again, is ben@internachi.org. That's my email. So if you have any questions, I'll take some questions. I can read your questions as you type them. But this is the webinar. I hope you learned how to produce a home energy inspection report. And I thank you very much for attending. I hope it was profitable for you. But you know, the big picture is the United States uses the most energy than anyone else on the planet, about 20% of the total global demand. And there's 130 million homes in the United States, and 80 million of them are wasting about 30% of their energy production. So you have a great opportunity to do a big picture, you know, to save the planet, to help our homes be more energy efficient. And there's no one else in the nation more capable than InterNACHI home inspectors. So we developed this tool just for you. And I don't know if you understand, but InterNACHI inspectors do about 10,000 home inspections every day. That's millions of home inspections every year. And there's a lot of work out there. There's 80 million homes ready for you to inspect and to inform the current or prospective homeowners about the energy efficiency in the home. And this tool is designed around your skill set, designed to be affordable, and designed to give your clients enough information to take some action. They can do a lot of the recommendations themselves with very little money, a lot of return on investment, quick return on investment. And if they do something significant like the air leaks and air sealing, they need a contractor, and we have a guide that will help them. So start offering home energy inspections, start providing more additional value to your clients, and start generating additional revenue for your business. So your clients will be happy, the planet will be happy, and your business will prosper. So thank you very much for attending. And if you have any questions, I can take a look. But the webinar is over. If you want to stay around, I'll take some questions from, let's see. Denny wants all the wants me to email all the links that I mentioned. I will. Somebody did one yesterday. Are you going to record this? Yes, we're actually recording right now, and I'll post this recording on that webpage, Home Energy Inspection webpage. What is the general fee for this type of inspection? We have feedback from inspectors right now, about $50 to $100 they're charging. There's somebody in New York. Most of the generations of these home energy inspection reports come from Florida for some reason, and then New York comes second. There's one inspector in Florida, I won't mention his name, but he's doing like 5 energy reports a day, or is it 10 a week? Something incredible, so we're really happy that that's working for his business. What is the accuracy of the report? There's a lot of data about this. So the Department of Energy spent years on developing this, and it actually has been compared with REMrate and another energy software called Simple, and the home energy calculator that InterNACHI uses to develop these reports are actually within the same accuracy zone. So it's just as accurate, if not more accurate in some respects, than the other full comprehensive energy auditing software out there. And that's backed up by research and data and demonstrations. What should we charge for this report? We've done that. Is there a printout? You don't need a printout of the slides that I used. Android, I don't know about Android. I'll talk to the IT department. I know iPhone and iPad. It can be used with iPhone and iPad. I don't know the name of the Compass app on the iPhone. What if the house has been updated since it was built? If it has been updated from the foundation up, then you use that most recent year. So if it was torn down and rebuilt, then yes, the walls are going to be different, the ceiling's going to be different, the whole home performance is going to be completely different. Try to think of a home as a system, a large system. You know that. Every component has some type of influence with the other systems in the house. So it would have to be torn down all the way and rebuilt for you to change the actual original year built date. Supposed to be looking at some other questions. How do you determine thickness of the walls? We went over that. There's a help menu within the tool. A lot about the blower door data. It is optional. It actually doesn't have a significant impact on the accuracy of the tool. But you can, that's why it's optional. You can skip over it if you want. Where do we find this energy calculator? Actually, it took us a couple years to license the tool from the Berkeley lab. Then there's an enormous fee, and there's a fee per report generation. And just because you license the report doesn't mean you can use it. You have to develop programming. And so we had our programmers develop this online tool. It's an online checklist. Was a report saved or lost due to bad connection? Oh, I could check it later. The data was probably saved. The report would have to be regenerated, so you need an internet connection. So the data and checklist is probably there. About multiple systems entry, HVAC, water. Oh, so if you have 2 HVACs, this tool was really developed for the 80 million homes that exist in our housing stock, and they're all about the same. I mean, except for the past 5 years, the McMansions that have been built. The real bulk of our American housing stock is around 2,500 square feet. There's a stat about 70% of all homes in 2030, 70% of all homes in 2030 have already been built. So most of the homes in the future have already been built. I mean, there's millions, 80 million homes that we're going to inspect, and they're all just about the same. They're built in the 80s, and they're not very efficient. That's why this is a serious problem. I mean, the United States is wasting a ton of energy, and it's the homes that we live in and the homes that we inspect. So we have a great opportunity. You have a great opportunity. More than anyone on the planet, InterNACHI home inspectors have a great opportunity to make this huge impact on the planet. So it's a great opportunity. And if you wanted more information about that, you can go to the big picture. If you're interested in the big picture, we wrote an article. It's nachi.org, www.nachi.org, energy. And I'm so happy that we have over 200 people still on the webinar. So I'm really thankful. But the big picture, go here, nachi.org/energy, and you'll find all of the what the big picture is for you as a home inspector. I mean, you're conducting and operating a business for yourself, but you actually have a bigger impact on the national scope. You should have that in mind also. A lot of people are saying goodbye and good night. Customizing the report and uploading. Well, we customize the report in the beginning with your photo, right? And it comes from your InterNACHI membership account, your profile. So upload a really nice picture of yourself, and we're thinking about uploading pictures because you take pictures of the insulation in the attic, but we don't want you to be burdened by double entry. So we're going to talk to, I'm not going to name them, but the top 4 or 5 home inspection software companies, and develop an API, a connection between your software that you use to generate a report and this online tool, so that you don't have to double entry. So when you're doing an inspection and you go into the attic and you kind of estimate the thickness of the insulation and look for inefficiencies and deficiencies and major defects, and you come down out of the attic, you can type in, if you're doing a pad, or you go to your computer later on and type in the information to generate a home inspection report. That information then can be transferred into the home energy inspection tool and generate an energy inspection report without you double entry. So that's in an upgrade, in an update, next version. How much do we charge? A lot of you are asking the same thing. How much do you charge? The feedback, again, this is an ancillary inspection. What we're being told by inspectors is about $50 to $100. So it's in there because it's designed to be affordable, and we put it up online in order to make it dynamic so that we can keep adding value to your client's report. And the more the tool is used and the more feedback we get, the bigger and better the report will be. That's why it's an amazing tool, because it's online and it's interactive, and the more we use it, the better it will get. And I think we want your clients to actually come back to the report as they do take action on recommendations that you make, and they'll see the energy savings. And you'll also get this opportunity to keep connection with these clients that you're serving with these home energy reports. So this online tool can help you get more business as the reports are read over and over. Can afford a home inspector sell their service now? Yeah, the tool is ready to go. It's been approved. It's actually been certified and approved by another organization called ResNet. I'm not sure if you know ResNet, but it's a large organization of home energy auditors, and they analyzed our tool and approved it. So it's recognized also by that certification by the DOE and the EPA, and we're in direct communication. We're a DOE partner. InterNACHI is a partner with the Department of Energy and an allied partner with the Environmental Protection Agency, because they know the potential of having thousands of home inspectors who can communicate energy efficiency issues to home buyers. So they're very excited, and we are too. So looks like there's a million questions coming in, and there's still about 187 of you online. And what I'm going to do is, I think I can't answer these questions right now. I'll stay for as long as I can without my throat failing on me. But I think the best thing for you would be to make sure you email me your questions, okay? And I will reply to you and answer you. I did about 100 emails today because of our last night's webinar. And a lot of the questions are duplicated. Here's one about koi ponds. Is that a fish pond? Ron, you asked about koi ponds. There are things that are not going to be in this home energy tool, right? Ponds, solar panels, PV stuff, geothermal. We're not talking about the shading of the house, although that energy calculator kind of does a little bit of calculation, some algorithms about the sun and the shading. So it's not for those marginal areas. It's really designed for a home inspector to inspect and report on the 80 million homes that are out there that are wasting 20 to 30% of their energy. Home buyers are buying homes without fully understanding how much their home actually costs. Remember, I don't know if you bought a home, but it's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, but they're not thinking about energy. Their home inspector, the trusted professional, third-party, neutral source of great information, should be able to speak to that. What is the home going to cost in energy and my utilities? Androids, I'm not sure about Android. I know iPhone and iPad. Sorry about that. I mean, we'll figure that out. But I think I've been told you can run it on anything. It's a very simple. It's not a complex program. What if there are 2 AC units, 2 furnaces, 2 water heaters? It's very easy. You add them up. So you add up the BTUs. It gets a little tricky with the years, right? Because maybe one is replaced and one is not. So we're trying, remember, this is for the general average typical American home. And the average typical American home doesn't have 2 or 3 heating systems or cooling systems. If it does, then there's a little help menu. You go into the tool and it tells you to add up the BTUs. That's what we really want. How many BTUs per square foot? How much energy is being used in the square footage? How much does InterNACHI charge? There's no charge right now, so you can generate a report for sale for free. And we're going to leave that open, I think, for a month or 2 or 3. I don't know. It's only until the cost becomes burdensome from the Department of Energy for every report that's generated. Once we switch over and start passing on those fees to you, we think it's only $5 a report generation. So if you're going to sell a home energy inspection report to your client, so let's say for $50, you'll pay $5 to produce that report. So there's a lot of profit margin right in there. How can you suggest air sealing without proper CAS? Oh no, we don't. So that guide and the report itself, the whole point of this is to get the home buyer interested in energy and understand a little bit so that when they move in, they take some action. That's the problem with energy audits and financing. You put energy audits and financing together and people still don't do anything. So we're using home inspectors who want to participate in educating homeowners about energy. And we're trying to get them enough information that's affordable to them and makes sense to take some action, like replace some light bulbs and some other recommendations. But when they get to a certain point, there's a line drawn. When you do air sealing and insulation, you need to hire a contractor. And those recommendations are specific. You need to hire a contractor, and we'll provide that information to find a qualified contractor, which is probably a resin or BPI certified contractor, a contractor with a blower door, or a home performance program, or a utility company, a list of contractors that are trained in home energy performance. That's the whole goal, to get eventually homeowners hiring contractors. And once you hire a contractor to do work, then you need auditors. You need actually 3 audits. You need a test in to make sure that the problems are identified correctly for the workers to do the work, and then a test out to make sure that the home is safe, because we sealed it all up, made it nice and tight, but we don't want to kill anybody. And then a QC inspection, a quality control inspector. So we need somebody to come in, third party neutral, with a blower door and say everything has been done correctly and you spent your money well. So once the home inspector educates the homeowner to take action and to do work, we need a test in, an energy audit to do the work, a test out, and a QC inspection. Over 120 people are still with us. So I'm going to do a couple more questions and that's about it. We'll wrap it up, okay? If the Department of Energy generates the report, can the public make a report themselves? Yes, there are a ton of free tools just like this. A lot of utility companies, I bet if you go to your utility company website, they have a tool just like this, and you can enter your information. The problem is, and I've been talking to utilities and home performance, and I've been traveling the country. I just got back from DC talking to the Department of Energy. The problem is when you do an online free tool like this, no action is taken. You give a homeowner a report. We all know as home inspectors, a report itself means nothing. No one's going to do anything on that. A comprehensive energy audit report by itself is nothing. You give it to them for free, a homeowner won't do anything. You need a trusted third-party professional home inspector, face-to-face communication, sitting at the kitchen table over a cup of coffee for 2 or 3 hours, talking about the condition of the home, how to operate the home, how to maintain it, and how to save energy. Then action is taken, because that homeowner is wary of all the information that comes from a utility company or some kind of free online tool or some kind of free report or subsidized funded report or inspection. But they trust the home inspector. They're giving you $300-400 hopefully, right? So they're engaged, they're leaning into every word you're saying, and they're in the back of their head, they're trying to figure out the cost of operating this home. And now you'll be able to provide that information. Is this a combined report or should it be an additional report? This is a home energy inspection report. You can send that report to your client through a link. You're provided a link. And so you send a copy, paste a link into your home inspection report, or copy and paste a link to the report in an email and send that link to your client. They click the link and up comes the report. Do we need a cert for this course? Well, we have 5 additional courses, and they're actually, let's see if they're actually on this page, right? The home energy inspection page. If you scroll down, there's the checklist. You can download that. And here are the courses. So we have some recommended courses. There are 5 courses that talk about energy that is valuable for a home inspector if they're going to provide these energy courses. So it's house as a system, energy movement, comfort and climate, indoor air quality, and calculating envelope energy. And they're all free for InterNACHI members. And they're actually developed in collaboration with the Department of Energy. It's Department of Energy content that we used primarily. Does that internet drop happen often? That's actually the first time where I was demonstrating the tool and it dropped. So just when you think everything's going well, it drops. And that's the challenge. So it's a pro and con, right? If your energy report was a static PDF that you send to your client, they'll probably not do anything with it. But because you gave them a link to an online report, they'll be interested. It's engaging. There's data and research about this, about what people do with a PDF. They kind of look at the front page, maybe read the summary and throw it away and delete it. But if they're given a link to a report that they paid for, they're going to click that link and read it. And there's a few things that we added in the report that keeps that reader's attention. So they're going to read every page and every word. and they're going to thank you for it. Is there a charge for this tool? We went over a few. I'm looking at the questions. They're kind of repeating themselves. Can you be more specific about the additional charge? Right now, it's free. So start using the report. And I think it's $5, only $5 for a report. I think Nick said it's only a few dollars to generate a report. And the value of the information, it could be hundreds or thousands. The average savings, I think it's on this website. It's on this website? No. The average savings that your client can realize following the recommendations in your report, on average, we have hundreds of thousands of reports that are generated, and we keep this data. So the average that a client can save is over $500. My report that we generated, $662, I think. It's an amazing tool. Oh, and so that's the value of that report, right, in the hundreds, and the fee is maybe a few dollars, $5. So there's a lot of room for profit there. Over 100 people still attending, so I'm going to keep going for a few more minutes. I'm going to look for questions that are, when you send the results to the clients, are there different forms to present to them via email or a link or a presentation folder? So when you generate a home energy inspection report, you're given this. So it's the tool's up online. So you're given a URL when you input all the data, right, and you generate a report. The report is generated, but you're given this window, and it's a link to the online report. You can copy paste that link into your home inspection report, or you can copy paste it into an email. But if you wanted to view the report, you click the window, and the report comes up. And so here's the report that we did a little while ago. And it gives your client a great idea quickly of what each system, like heating, cooling, large appliances, I'm flicking through, but I'm not sure if it's as smooth as it is. So you've got to do these reports. Via webinar, everything's kind of choppy, I'm looking. So you've got to log on online and give it a try. Especially watch the 3-minute tutorial about how to use the energy report. What if there's no internet connection? I was doing home inspections before Al Gore invented the internet. So we developed the checklist for you so you can collect the data and then enter it later when you get home and you have a hard line connection to the internet. Is there a liability risk? I missed it. What if the data is inaccurate? Is there a liability risk of generating an inaccurate energy report? Well, the data is not generated by you. It's generated by InterNACHI in collaboration with the Department of Energy, and the recommendations also, and then all the data is from that. But two things. So we have a standards of practice in draft form. So the standards of practice for performing a home energy inspection is at nachi.org/SOP home energy inspection. I can give you that link if you email me. So this is draft only. This is standards of practice for performing a home energy inspection, right? Home energy inspection. And then you better be using an agreement system that is equivalent or superior to InterNACHI's agreement system. I can't imagine you have something better than this. It's an online agreement system, and you can create templates and you can create clauses of your own. And again, just like the home energy report, you provide a link to the online agreement system. So there are some templates here for radon inspection agreement. You should have a radon. If you're doing a radon test, you should have an agreement or an addendum about radon tests. And so you can develop your own templates, your own agreements, and have your client sign it. And inside explain that the service of what the service is and how you use the energy report. Is there a cost? Will HomeGauge be adding to this? Will Home Energy Pro be adding to this 3D? Certainly hope so. Palm Tech. We'll contact everybody that you want us to contact. If you don't have internet access, will you be able to access the report? You have to go online. This is an online tool. Eventually, you have to go online to generate the report. Well, it looks like we're running out of time, and I've just about answered all the questions that I can see that are different. A lot of the questions are repeated. So thank you all very much. I see you're logging off. Thank you very much. We'll have a webinar soon, later on in the month, but start doing home energy reports. At least try some sample ones, some hypothetical ones. And really, it's free and open to you. You decide if it works for your business. We just want to provide this tool for you because we know that homeowners, home buyers are increasingly concerned about the energy cost of their home that they're about to buy. And you can provide this information customized to your clients that are moving in. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.